I didn't want it to be an open-ended, I'm not sure where this relationship is going. I wanted it to have a clear picture of where eventually the relationship would go. We met at the coffee shop that Ashley used to work at. She was working that day, and I was there with my uncle and my brothers and my cousins. And my cousin was, talking a big game, saying that he could talk to any girl in the shop because that's his thing. It's not his thing. And so he went to give his heart shape, and the girl that he went to give it to was Ashley. And he gave it to her and walked back and didn't really say anything. And my uncle's like, "What was that, man? What was that? And you didn't ask her name or her phone number or anything?" And I was like, "Hold on, I'll show you how it's done." And I did. Gave her the heart and talked to her a little, and she was like, "Oh, you made my day." And I was like, "I'm glad I made your day."
I had just finished reading this book called The Cinderella Rule, and it's about how the guy pursues, and I growing up, just pursued myself, and I was like, well, that doesn't really exist, and literally I had just finished the book, and Simeon was introduced into my life.
Due to my brother's outgoing nature, they found her and friended her on Facebook. And I was like, I saw them talking to her, and I was like, well, I gotta join that bandwagon. Looks like a good place to be.
I invited him to go to a movie with me, and I was actually invited him because
she thought my cousin, who gave her the heart originally, was going.
He went back to Tennessee because that's where he lives, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, he's from Tennessee, and I don't want a long-distance relationship. That's not my thing. I was kind of playing the field here, and so I didn't really think anything of it. But he was very persistent.
Right away, I told her, I was like, if I was there, I would ask you out. And apparently, she doesn't give out her number on Wednesdays, so...
That's what I told him. And the more I talked to him, the more I wanted to talk to him even more. So I finally gave him my number, and I think we talked for like a couple hours at a time on the phone. And eventually started watching shows together over the internet, and that's kind of how we progressed.
Yeah, and it sounds like it was this lengthy, ongoing process, but actually it was a month later that I asked her to be my girlfriend.
He pretty much assumed I liked him, because he's like, so I like you, and you like me, so what are we going to do about it? And I'm like, wait a second. I never said that.
But it was true.
And he called my dad and asked if he could date me intentionally.
So when I had called her dad to ask if I could date her, I was incredibly nervous because I'd never met him before in person, and I was just calling him, and I met once over Skype, their whole family at the dinner table. So I was thinking, I'm just this random guy calling who he's never met before to ask if I could date his daughter intentionally, and I was super nervous. When I say dating intentionally, what I meant is that I didn't want to date with no objective. I wanted to date with saying, okay, the reason I'm dating you is because at some point in the future, I see potential of us getting engaged, getting married.
Long-distance relationships, I thought, were out the window. Didn't want anything to do with them. But honestly, it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me. There are a few pros. You get to know a person so much better because you're constantly talking to them.
I kept hearing this statistic that most people when they're dating spend 90% of their time doing things, only like 10% of the time talking. And it's really hard not doing things, which is what happens when you're in a long-distance relationship. You can't really do that many things together, which is what you naturally want to do. It makes it so that you can kind of open up better conversations about really what your boundaries are and what your personal convictions are on the matter without having it like right there in front of you, because it makes it a lot easier to actually really think through it and not to just be propelled by emotion and by what you feel like.
I realized, I was like, oh my goodness, this is for real. God orchestrated this. It wasn't just me off in my little whimsical world. And I started tearing up and kind of crying a little bit, and I was like, this is for real.
My specific moment that I actually pieced it together in my head came actually very quickly. It was actually the weekend that I asked her to be my girlfriend, which seems really sudden, but I actually told my mom. She came to pick me up from school for the weekend, and I told her in the car, I said, Mom, I think if things keep going the way that they're going right now, I may end up marrying this girl.
Cinderella's story really can come true, and it's just that God is orchestrating it.
What were your first impressions of Simeon?
Do you want to go first?
No, you can.
Okay. When I first met him, well, you already know the story of how Caleb was supposed to be the one that Ashley was interested in, but then Simeon started talking to Ashley, and it was really funny because we thought he was just annoying at first. Then she put him on speakerphone, and I was like, what, you're on the phone? Like, you're talking on the phone? Okay, this is more serious than a friendship. That's not, yeah, but, and then he made some jokes that were really funny. I forgot what they were, but they were really funny, and I thought he was humorous, at least.
My first impression
I'm
was
drawing
that
a blank.
he looked young.
He's young.
He is young.
Yeah.
But
in all fairness, he is young, but he has a fantastic heart.
He was really weird.
yeah, he wasn't what I expected, like, Ashley, to find a guy like that. Like, I thought she would
But the thing
find
is,
someone different.
yeah, but the thing
Physically different, I guess.
Okay, I got.
is, we had to think about this apparently.
And he treats her like a queen, I guess, and that's cool.
I like Simeon because Ashley is crazy on her own, but I think that Simeon's craziness
It just
balances hers out.
Okay, so I was really excited about how he liked a lot of the music that we liked, because that's really important.
This relationship is about giving, not getting. And in some ways, yeah, obviously it's about getting, but mostly it's about sacrifice, and it's a real love, not just that immature love. She's matured a lot through this relationship, way better than all of her other relationships.
Treats Ashley like he should be treated, and he respects her and loves her, and he pursues. He's the one chasing her. I like that.
About him and Ashley, or just Simeon in general? Because I could go on and on and on about Simeon's quirkiness.
I like how he's open about his quirkiness, though. He doesn't hide it.
Mostly all of my conversations with him, he ends up in a different voice or singing, or it doesn't make sense what he's saying.
Or a lot of facts about a lot of stuff
that
he probably doesn't know.
That's not relevant to the conversation.
It's really fun. Like when we were wrapping presents, like we made gift wrapping paper hats, and it was really fun. And
he's not afraid to be himself.
No.
Ashley and I had been having some really good conversations about a month before she met Simeon. And one of the things that we had talked about is, that God has a plan for you. And he has someone specifically out there for you, someone that's going to pursue you and love you for who you are. And he's not going to want to change who you are as a person. I remember meeting his parents for the first time and looking at them and saying, God brought your son into my daughter's life. He brought Simeon into your life, I believe, Ashley, to show you that he was real, that God really truly had a plan for you, and that he did have a man out there for you that was his intention. One of the first questions he asked you was your testimony. That started just a series of him not stopping. He didn't stop. He wanted to know more about you. I guess I knew before Daddy did. Because to me, when he walked in to that coffee shop and didn't let up from that point on. I knew he was an answer to at least my prayer.
This summer when he was here, and I was working out in the office, and I had taken a break or something and gone out into the yard, and I was doing something out there. And Ashley and Simeon are in the pool, and they have goggles on, like swim goggles, both of them, which makes them look really dorky. Anybody makes them look really dorky in the first place. But they're diving for dive sticks. So they're throwing dive sticks, not even off the deck. They're like in the pool throwing them. There's like in the deep end, and they're diving down for them. And just laughing and being genuine with each other. I think that was the time when I thought, man, there could be something to this. I'd never done this before. So, right? I didn't know how to feel, and I didn't want to do it the wrong way. My personality is I'm kind of overbearing and have 100 questions and want to be very analytical. And so my first thought was, all right, what 100 questions can I come up with that Simeon's got to answer like right then when he asks, for Ashley's hand in marriage. And I knew that wasn't the right thing to do. But so talking to Sonia and getting some feedback from some other guys that I trust and have confidence in, it definitely helped take the nervousness away. But then that realization sets in that it's going to happen.
Remember, because we were in a cafe, right? So we're in public. So I'm trying to be quietly crying. Excited for you and Simeon and the adventure. Nervous about how I was going to handle the emotions between now and then. Truly, I wish some days in this world that it was all different. We could start our own commune.
Put the fence up, build the houses in the backyard. No one ever leaves. Ever.
No, I just, there was just a pyramid of emotions that day.
It came right down to him getting here. So we were expecting him like on a Friday night? And he called at like 9 o'clock or 9:30 in the morning on Friday morning, and he's like, hey, Mr. Wallenbeck. I'm like, hey, Sim, how's it going? He's like, yeah, I'm about 15 minutes away. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, so he drove all night long. And at first I was like, wow, that boy's crazy. And then I was trying to think back of like how I would be if I knew I was coming to get engaged. So then Ashley still had to work the next couple of days. So Saturday afternoon,
The
Sonia
three
and
of
I
us,
and Simeon
yeah.
are sitting in the living room, and Sonia says to Simeon, hey, it's probably a good time. Ashley's not here. Is there any questions, anything we can help out with? And we were asking him basically what day he was going to propose, and he starts.
If we needed to help.
Yeah,
do
if there was
some
anything we
stuff
needed to
could
help out with. And so he starts talking about, like every day this week she's busy till like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night with work, and
coffee shop closes at 8.
yeah, so
not a lot of time.
what am I gonna do? And so I'm like, okay, so like next Saturday, and he's like, there's this silence.
I said, Sim, do you want to do this tomorrow?
Yeah.
He's like, yes. I said, so we need to get some details done so that we can help you make it happen. So that was cool.
Yeah.
You didn't know this, but Simeon called me because Daddy had told him I was a little jealous of the whole him asking him to marry you when, right? I don't think that's fair. Simeon, that day you called me. You'll never know how much that meant to me. But he called me and he said, I have to tell somebody. I just picked up Ashley's ring, and it's so pretty, and it's sparkly, and that meant the world to me. we're excited to see the next adventure, because that's how we're going to look at it. It's the newest adventure in the Wallenbeck family.
I'm very excited because of the relationship that they have. That they've got a good foundation started, right?
And you guys have got awesome support. You've been right there where you're going to be living. You've got Simeon's parents, and you've got a ton of people back here in Midland and in Bay City area that'll be praying for you and always here. So I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. The dog likes Simeon. Just saying.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. The dog test. We did the dog test, and Simeon passed.
Thank you.
Let me see. Oh, it's so gorgeous. It's so pretty.